Hey, and welcome back into the den. After my interview with Liv last week, I'm fascinated by discovering the stories of more people in the creative industry. So joining me today is an upcoming jazz artist attempting to break into the industry and a fellow geography student, Theo. So, if you could describe yourself as a style of music, what would it be and why?
Well, I think having to pick just one genre of music is really hard. And I wouldn't say I associate myself with one genre because I studied piano and it's classical, and then now I'm doing jazz.
Completely
so
different, yeah.
So now it's like classical jazz, but I also think it's important not to box yourself into one genre as a musician. So you may like jazz, but you can't. It's not good to only like jazz. You should just be open.
Be open to it. Yeah, to be honest, I used to be quite very fixed on just one set, and then someone recommends something, and then you recommend something from that. Like when you sent over that playlist, I was actually listening to it, and I was like, "Oh, this is actually quite cool." Yeah. And then when I went to a concert on Tuesday, it's actually classical music is quite. People often, I think, frown upon it. For teenagers, they don't think they can relate to it. They're always like, "We're listening to Stormzy constantly and stuff like that." But it's actually quite beautiful in a way. Classical music. I can't play any musical instrument, but if I could, I think it's impressive, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. But Spotify, absolute saviour for me. Love it. I've got a playlist for every mood possible. It's like I said, I would listen to popular music and dance music, but I do also like classical and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's good to have it there as an option to listen to.
Yeah, exactly.
Change it up.
Instead of just listening to the same things constantly. But even though I may be very untalented in the industry myself, music does still play a big role in my life, and I feel like it holds an immense power because it's quite provoking emotions in a sense. And the diversity of music is eye-opening, as I believe everyone can find their song. Just take them away, put the headphones in, and be transported. I love Everybody's on the Wrong Run by Noel Gallagher because I'm a massive Oasis fan. Love it. And if you could only pick one song to listen to transform you, what would it be?
One song?
That's quite hard, I know.
Hard.
Or one artist, if that's easier.
One artist. Oh, well, as you probably know, I like bossa nova, which is sort of a genre of jazz. So I guess one big artist in that is Antonio Carlos Jobim. Probably people don't really know him, but he's such a big figurehead in bossa nova. It's really relaxing, and that's what me and my band are trying to recreate.
Okay, so you're being inspired by certain styles.
Certain styles, yeah. So, but it's not just bossa nova. It might be more contemporary jazz.
So it's kind of being influenced by others, but then creating your own style through it. Because it's kind of if I try starting a band, which wouldn't happen, but if I did, I'd probably try and go more of a positive, upbeat ones. But I also think songs which are quite slow are very meaningful at the same time. Obviously classical, people automatically think it's down and everything, but it's not. But I feel jazz is can also be, I've listened to jazz which is slow and fast, but I think jazz is very expressionistic in a way.
No, it gives. What I think of jazz, it gives you, music in general, just gives you a way to express yourself. If you can't, speak, your words can't get across a message, then music can transcend the language.
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel some days, if I want to listen to something more sad, in a way, you know what I mean? But then other music makes you just feel completely different. If you listen to ABBA, you're not going to feel the same as Adele. You know what I mean? It's completely different. And so obviously you're in your jazz band, Giraffe, which is quite amazing to be started at such a young age.
Thank you.
So I feel more people need to realise, actually appreciate this style of music more. And our generation, like I said, is immediately associated music which is popular or in the charts and swears every other word. And people may seem surprised to hear someone at your age in a band creating jazz music when it's actually quite inspiring to be able to open yourself up to other ways. So why do you think people our age aren't interested, or there's an assumption that people aren't interested in jazz?
Yeah, so I definitely agree with you. Jazz and other not so popular genres of music, like the younger generation haven't been exposed to it, and I think that's the problem. So like if you walk into a shop or a restaurant, they're not going to be playing like Mozart or like...
I think it'd be more nice if I worked in a restaurant and had that. I'd prefer it.
Yeah, but I just think for the younger generation to appreciate these styles of music, it just needs to be played more.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Because I feel like if I work in a restaurant as well, but all the songs they play are like people you hear on the radio.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, like, obviously, I know this is completely different styles of like beauty, but you have the beauty of music and the beauty of food. So surely they should be appreciated more with like actual like different music. And obviously, it's like opera and stuff is so immersive, and I feel like that type of music, like jazz, classical, any of that, actually makes you think, and it has such deeper meanings which people don't really sometimes appreciate.
And, like, the great thing about jazz is that it doesn't have to be like it can be anything you want it to be. There's no like set rules or expectations surrounding it. That's what I love, because you can be like really big, like slow jazz, like you were saying earlier. It can be really fast paced, like contemporary.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I love about it, really.
Yeah. Well, if you could pick, this is quite very spontaneous. But if you could pick slow or fast jazz, which one would you go for?
Oh, well, that depends.
Depends on the mood.
It does really. Like, I guess I'm definitely more like energy, like lively. I do like the fast-paced stuff.
Okay, but you do appreciate the stuff too. Yeah. I think it's good though, because like you said, if you conform yourself just to one style of music, then you're taking away what other people have made and like not appreciating that too. But what inspires me the most is what I want to get out of these interviews is like how come someone's journey is completely different to someone else's. So obviously you're in the arts industry, which like Liv was, but obviously your style of expressing it is completely different. And so for you, what inspires you to pursue music and set up your own jazz band?
It actually all started because my brother actually had a jazz band called Lobster.
Okay.
Strange name.
So it's like both animals.
Lobster, giraffe, and I just remember watching him at gigs and thinking, it'd be so cool to do that. And then we formed it about 6 months ago.
Okay, so pretty recent.
Recent. And we've probably done like a mixture of our own compositions and covers. And we've sort of been going strength to strength really, because we had like smaller gigs. Yeah. And then we recently played like this Birmingham conference thing.
That's impressive.
It's going really well. And I hope we can keep it going.
I think it's pretty, like, obviously you're doing so well, but sometimes it can be surreal, like it's something you've created yourself. But like one of my friends is a singer and stuff, but you listen, you're like, actually we need to appreciate the smaller artists more, because they're breaking like into the industry. But do you think you prefer playing to like smaller places or bigger places, do you think?
I think the larger performances are always more like thrilling and exhilarating.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, like performing to a smaller audience, I guess it is a bit more personal. And,
I get what you mean.
You can get across your musical messages.
Because I go to quite a few like smaller concerts, like just at the waterfront, like the tiny venues. But I feel like it's so nice because they all just, you're in such a small room space, together, and you can just appreciate it more. But then like, at the same time, I bet you just wouldn't say no to Glastonbury, would you? Like, no one would say, if you were a music artist, you're not going to say no to Glastonbury.
But then I just like jazz, like you wouldn't, like someone wouldn't be headlining playing jazz at Glastonbury.
Exactly,
like,
that's what I mean. Yeah, it should be, because like they always put jazz on like the little side stages in the corner. I'm like, why aren't they just at the front, like with Diana Ross or whatever? But do you like some of your work? Previous songs you've made, or is it all new stuff you're doing? So like starting out, we were trying to write our own stuff. Oh, okay.
Like I'd like come along to a session with like maybe a couple melodies, and as a group, it was really nice because as a group we'd come together and develop the song.
That's quite cool. Yeah.
And then other times when we're feeling a bit lazy, we just take other song and then...
But I feel like sometimes covers are nice because you can give your own taste on it.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to follow it exactly the same.
Especially if it's like a well-known song, which people know, and they can see it through a different perspective.
And I feel like also with your jazz, you could... I don't even know, I'm not musical, but you could take a song which is popular, which isn't necessarily jazz, but you could like put a spin on it, which I think is quite interesting. Music genres can merge essentially, I guess.
No, definitely.
But as I'm a history student, I always relate everything to the past, as it influences and changes like how music has developed. But for me, my favourite is probably like the Harlem Renaissance and all the jazz which happened like in America. As it just gave like the opportunity for like, African Americans to show their creativity and express themselves, like blues music, jazz music, like New Orleans, like that area. So what artists or bands would you say have had a significant impact on your music, present or past, and what is your favourite past era of music?
Oh, so in terms of influence, I think I mentioned earlier like the bossa nova side, but it's not just like jazz bands which influence, like even like modern like pop bands which don't associate with jazz, like because you learn a lot from them in terms of like how to structure your piece, but then you learn how to write really nice melodies from the jazz side, so it's like a combination of
it's just learning from like little bits from each person. I wouldn't even know the first steps of writing a song. Like when people have said to me, like one of my friends is making his own album.
Oh really?
And he's like doing like 15 songs, which is pretty chunky, and I was like, I wouldn't even know where to start. So that's like creating music when people are like, you do realise that's identical to the song, which is I was like, oh whoops. But yeah, what other ones have influenced you?
Just like another thing, like classical music, which is so different from jazz. Like I thought I'd just bring up, like, for people who don't know about musical history, like a key figurehead is someone called J.S. Bach.
I haven't heard. I'm not gonna lie.
But basically, just he is like known as like a god of music, and he basically laid out all the foundations for like people like me who wanted to learn jazz. But he was like in the Baroque era, so it's like he was doing techniques at the time which are still being used now. So it's like that's how important he was.
Like, he's like a precedent for like, the future.
So even like classical music to pop bands to jazz, like they all influence our work.
Because they all come together, to be honest. But I think like now sometimes it can be shown as like you've got so much access like through Spotify and Apple. You can open yourself to as many different styles as possible. But it's clear how music has been influenced by history. But I sometimes think people overlook the power it holds. But how would you sum up the power music holds in society today?
I think music has immense power, really. Because like, in terms of just like in a practical sense, like if you like spoke a different language, but music, everyone understands the language of music, like and you don't really need to like study it to understand it.
Exactly.
Like, you will hear it and think, oh yeah, that's really nice. I think and and like another thing, like I mentioned earlier, like it gives people another opportunity to express themselves.
That's what I said, like it's like giving a voice through something else. Because like all songs have meanings. If you actually listen to the lyrics, they do have so much more in them. And like sometimes like you can listen to a song in French or something, it doesn't really matter. If you don't understand the language, you can still understand where they're coming from in a sense. I guess so. But to link to the last question, which is quite a big question, but what would the world be without music?
For me personally, music has been so important in like through a confidence perspective. I haven't always been, before music I wasn't as confident. And then all this performing and writing, it's like...
it will, because it kind of gives you a sense of empowerment.
Like when you're up on stage in front of, I was in front of 800 people a month ago. And it really does like bring it home, like, wow, I'm really doing this.
Exactly. It's quite surreal in a sense, because you're like, what is actually happening? And you have to kind of take a moment and be like, oh, but do you get nervous before?
Definitely, like, and there's not been a single performance where I've been like totally chill, like, but the thing is, once I'm up on that stage, they just
that's what I mean go, like certain performers, some performers who I can talk to, and they'll be like, I'm not nervous at all, and I'm like, how on earth? But I feel like once you get into it, you're just like, I love this. It's gonna show, because once you start, like you might have a bit of a shaky voice to start off with, or you may be able to be a bit nervous. But then you get into it and you're like, actually, this is actually what I love, so I'm not going to be nervous for it. So I asked Liv this the last time we spoke about her journey of the arts, but I'll adapt it for music. So do you think anyone could be a musician?
Yeah, so I think like the process of becoming a musician is not restricted to like learning a particular instrument or having like formal music education. Like if you have a passion and love for music, then
do it. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the same with anything, to be honest. If you have that passion, then it's gonna show. Like obviously, if you're not passionate, they're gonna be able to tell. Let's be honest. But if you, it's like anything. If you want to do it and you put like your mind to it, you might as well just go for it because you're gonna be able to show it. Like to be honest, I probably would pursue an instrument, but I don't have the time. I'm not even gonna be honest.
Well, you don't have the time.
I don't have the time. Like I would probably do saxophone, and I was going to like. I could probably pick it up.
It's never too late. I mean,
it is true.
You can always do it in like when you're like 30 or 40. Like
true.
There's never like an age.
That's what I said. Like I was talking to my mum when she was younger. Like she used to do clarinet and she was in the choir and like piano. And like ages ago, she like got a piano again. And she just started playing in the house again. I was like, you just pick it up and it just comes back up again. And then like the other day, she was like talking about like starting it again. I was like, you might as well.
Yeah, you might as well. Yeah.
Like. If you loved it in the past, then you might as well keep hold of it and go back to it. Yeah. So obviously, music has played quite a big role in your life and who you are. So, what do you think music has brought to you, and what would you be without it?
Oh, yeah, like I said earlier, it's like giving me another voice. But also, I think this is a topic which doesn't get talked enough about in the music, but it's like mental health.
Okay, yeah.
Like. For me, it's quite important because as musicians, you're taught from a young age that if you like play a wrong note or you're not practicing enough, you can be seen as a failure, and like you can be really hard on yourself.
It's quite intense.
Yeah, it's really intense. And especially juggling, because I want to go to music school.
Okay, yeah. Anyone in particular, or?
Yeah, I mean I've gone to a couple open days.
Okay.
But I think there's one in Manchester.
Oh wow! Yeah. I want to go to Manchester.
Oh nice.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, like I think what's more important than being hard on yourself is like just giving yourself breaks and realising that you don't have to do all this work. Just
it's so true because like even though criticism is good in a way to be able to improve, but sometimes it is good to appreciate like how much you have done. You may create a whole song and then at the end one note goes wrong, but think about that song which just went so well beforehand. But the music industry, obviously, I don't have much experience, but does seem quite intense.
Especially, like, I was just going to say, like, for performers who want to make it, you have to be so, like, diligent and dedicated to your practice.
Definitely,
And juggling that with schoolwork.
Oh, it must be hard, like, having to juggle school practice and making sure it, like...
It all comes together.
Yeah, exactly. But for me, the saying, music touches us emotionally where words can't, sums it up. So if you could sum it up in a quote or sentence... What would it be and why?
Okay, one sentence would be, if you've ever listened to a piece of music which has made you forget about the real world and the problems within it, then you have truly experienced its power.
That just sum up to us.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just music that brings that emotional power. Because like so many, you can listen to one song and be crying, the next minute laughing. You know what I mean? It's so immersive, and like I love concerts and be able to just do that,
especially in like real life live.
Exactly. I feel like live music is amazing. Like sometimes you listen to Spotify and it's just the same thing. Then like live music, they talk to you in between. They have a laugh and a joke, but I think it's just very powerful. So thank you so much for coming on today and sharing what the arts mean to you, and make sure to check out Giraffe as they blaze a trail, and whenever Run Norwich happens, whenever it may be now, we'll be there. I'll be at the back trundling along. It'll be fine. So I hope you all feel inspired yet again by another voice in the arts industry, and it means different to each person. And remember to always be a voice and not an echo.